Sports fans, we are live. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, OG the Beast. Always here, my co-host, Uncle Chilltown 32. What's poppin', Unc?
Ain't nothing. Basketball season, still football season. We in the house.
We in the house. A nasty week of football this week. Nasty week. You know, me and Unc was just talking about it while the countdown was going on. There's a lot of Gabricio in football. Let me know if y'all could hear us, by the way, though. You know, thumbs up if y'all could hear us good, loud and clear. Is we smoking hot? We all good? We all good? Just letting us know because we doing something new. We got a new way of transportation, new way of audio. Audio all good. That's what I like to hear. Okay, but
Got a new whip. Check us out.
got a new whip. We trying to test it out. We ain't bought
Check
it
us
yet.
out.
We just testing it out. You know,
They let us hold. They let us hold it for the weekend.
right, and that's we gonna see how this go. But nasty weekend of football. But, a lot to get to today. We're going to talk about some Jordan and LeBron stuff. We're going to swap the positions they in. We're going to talk about, of course, the Chicago Bulls. We're going to talk about his 49ers. But we're going to definitely lead the show with this Henry Ruggs situation. So this man, Henry Ruggs, ladies and gentlemen, Henry Ruggs, wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. First-round draft pick a few years back, if you're not familiar. This guy has already been on a bust trajectory, but now, come to find out, this man got into a car accident and killed somebody, an innocent person, killed somebody due to him deciding to get drunk and hop behind the wheel. Now, there's a lot of speculation. All the details are not out yet, so we don't know fully what happened. But what we do know is somebody lost their life due to negligence and selfishness of Henry Ruggs. That man is a piece of shit for doing what he did. I don't appreciate that as a person that's a watcher, an avid watcher of the NFL. It's not a good way to represent the league. We had an incident years back similar to this with Dante Stallworth as well. He was able to play, don't know how, but we'll see what action the NFL takes result in this. But all I know is somebody lost a mother, a father, a sister, brother, niece, nephew, uncle, all of the above, cousin. Somebody lost somebody important and dear to them for absolutely no reason because of somebody else's negligence and irresponsibility. Imagine walking out of your house in an attempt to just go to the corner store to grab a carton of milk to figure out that you'll never be walking back into that house you left out of again because of somebody else's negligence. So live life to the fullest. That's basically what I'm trying to tell y'all. And Henry Ruggs needs to face some type of criminal indictment for this. Unc said he gonna see some jail time, but they already trying to figure out ways to prevent that, to walk around that, stating that if they can't prove that he was actually impaired, if they can't prove that he was actually drunk, it could drop to involuntary manslaughter or vehicular manslaughter, which is a misdemeanor. So, I don't know the legalities of the situation. We'll get more news as the days progress, but this is a sad day in the NFL. And please, if y'all are old enough to drink out there, whoever's watching this show, if you don't hear from anybody else, please hear from me. Do not drink, do not smoke, and then get behind the wheel of a car. You got 2 tons you hauling, and if you hit something, you can not only damage it, but you can also damage yourself. Henry Ruggs was thankfully unscathed coming out of this, but unthankfully, the person that he hit did not. But this is a terrible night in sports. Unc, what you think about this Henry Ruggs situation?
Again, we talking about somebody that has a problem, and I'm pretty lenient with people. I usually get a benefit of the doubt with people when they have problems because we all walk in a fine line here. However, when I think about getting behind the wheel of a car and how irresponsible that is, especially when you've been drinking, and what could actually happen if you do something like that. And the idea, knowingly, even before you got drunk, knowing that if I did this and got behind the wheel of a car, I could actually kill somebody. Right. You know that. And you go and you impair yourself anyway. And it actually results in that. Because you talked about Dante Stallworth. I mean, he only did 30 days in jail. And don't leave out, his name escapes me. The guy who used to play for the Rams. He ended up killing him. He ended up killing somebody's mother.
That's
And
crazy.
when you're talking about doing stuff like this, like I said, I'm having a difficult time with knowing what exactly it is that you're doing, even before you actually commit it. I ain't talking about actually killing somebody. I'm talking about before I put that yak in the bottle or in the cup. Before I even do that, I know what could happen once I take it there and once I get behind the wheel of a car. Even before I become impaired, I know that if I do this, I can get behind the wheel of a car and kill somebody. And knowing that, you still do it anyway. And like I said, I know people got problems, and I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But when you're talking about stuff like this, man, it's hard for me to look the other way, yo. It is difficult for me to look the other way, and it's hard for me to say, yo, I understand, I forgive you, and it's hard for me to do that. Very difficult.
I feel you. I'm 100% with you. It's very hard to look the other way over some stuff like this. I can't help but to say I apologize for anybody that was affected by this. And like I say, young cats out here, do not drink and drive. If you listen to anything I ever said, listen to that. Do not drive physically impaired, vision impaired. You think you good, but you really not. Look, man, call a Uber. Call Uber. That's what they there for. So it's just a sad day in the NFL when you got to hear some stuff like this. A young kid, like,
Call a Uber. Call a Uber. How about this, Beast? I'm making this kind of bread, and I'm sorry I'm getting a little animated about this, but this is this type of stuff that I'm talking about. I'm making money like this, right? So I'm probably not rolling alone nowhere.
yeah,
So I got somebody that's with me on the regular. Now, if I got somebody that's with me on the regular, they probably not rolling like me. So if I'm drinking, they probably not drinking, especially if we going somewhere. I'm the designated whatever, right? I'm the designated driver. I'm the designated whatever you want to be. I'm that dude.
facts.
Not to mention, whenever you got a guy who, like guys carrying guns, and I don't want to get on that subject, but we have people in place for stuff like that. You smart enough to know that. Now, I can appreciate you being a 20 something year old athlete and you think you're superhuman, but you are smart enough to know the difference between right and wrong, and you know what could happen if I took it here. You know that. This isn't news. You know what this could be.
No
So
doubt.
I just have a difficult time with that, man.
Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. Henry Ruggs it's a multitude of things he could have done to prevent this from happening. It's just sheer stupidity, negligence, and irresponsibility on his behalf. And like I say, condolences out to the family. Everybody that was harmed, injured, or lost in this accident is crazy as hell. But on to a more positive note, we had some great basketball this week. Some great basketball this week. And I'm a little bit happier than I normally am when it comes to basketball season, simply because my boys ain't been relevant in like a decade. When the last time my boys been relevant? I'm trying to think. 9, 10, and
2013 when I was in the
13
playoffs.
when we lost to Bron and them. That was
Mm-hmm.
probably the last time we was relevant. Jimmy Butler, Derrick
Mm-hmm.
Rose on their last legs together. That was probably the last time we was truly relevant. Well, damn it, we're relevant now. LeBron ain't available, but DeMar DeRozan is. Back-to-back games, we face the Utah Jazz. Then we come back and we see a Boston Celtics team that's struggling, but a lot predicted them to be at the top of the Eastern Conference this season. Unk being one of them, right?
Absolutely. I think I had them at fifth. I had them in the top five in the Eastern Conference.
That's good enough for me. But
Mm-hmm.
we came in, right? Let's talk about this game, Unk. We came in losing by 20 points. We go on a 29-3 run. I believe that fourth quarter, we was what? What was the fourth quarter? 39-11. We won the fourth quarter 39-11 on the back of a struggling Zach LaVine, who was 1 for 8 at one point during this game. Ended the game with like 26-7. Zach LaVine is a hell of a talent, a hell of a player, and he's done nothing but progress each and every year of his career, and I love to see it. DeMar DeRozan, people said he was washed. Well, you tend to play like that when you play for somebody that ain't playing for nothing in San Antonio. DeMar DeRozan came out here and gave us 37-7, his second consecutive 30-point game on the season. Everybody would thought he would just be some guy, a cog in the system. He's ended up being the guy, the reason. Because if it wasn't for how hot he was, we probably would have lost this game. Down the stretch in the fourth quarter, the Achilles heel for the Chicago Bulls has been defensively. How good can we be defensively? The offense is there. Caruso can hit shots. Zach LaVine can hit shots. Lonzo Ball has been lights out from three lately. DeMar DeRozan is even hitting that corner three. Vooch has been knocking shots down. We can hit shots. Offensively is not the issue. It's never been an issue. But can Vooch be that post defender that we need him to be? Lonzo Ball is not a question on the perimeter, but can LaVine step up and elevate his game defensively? Can DeRozan step up and elevate his game defensively? We already know what a Caruso brings, what a Jones Jr. brings. We get all of that. So it's like, what can these guys bring to the table defensively as a collective unit? We go 50, 40, 90 splits for the duration of this game. That is how we won this game. We led the team. We led both teams in turnovers, which is never good. I believe they scored over 20 points off of our turnovers, which would have been the talk of the town had we lost. But since we won, we're gonna talk about the fact that we shot. Well, we shot 57% from the field, 42% from three, and 94% from the free throw line against these boys. Versus them shooting 43% from the field, 45% from three, and 75% from the free throw line. We just dominated the game, not only on the glass in the fourth quarter, but also with efficiency. And I'm just so proud of my Bulls, and I'm happy that we finally moving in the right direction. Billy Donovan, with his lineup changes and how he staggers the lineup, he starts all of our heavy hitters, but he likes to play DeRozan with the second unit, and then he'll take DeRozan out with Douglas and all of the second unit, Caruso and all the second unit boys, and then he'll bring in Vooch and LaVine off the bench at the end, towards the end of the second quarter. It's just beautiful what I'm seeing from Billy Donovan, how he's figuring out how to put these guys in the game at the right time and maximize their ability with the players that they play the best with. I think that's key. And Billy Donovan has been doing a hell of a job. So if everybody's talking about DeMar and LaVine, Caruso, and Vooch, I'm going to give Billy Donovan some credit. I'm going to give credit where credit is due, because I honestly believe coaching is the most underrated aspect of sports, period. Coaches don't get enough love and respect. So, but they get all the blame when things don't go right. Look at Frank Vogel.
They do. Yes,
look at Frank
Absolutely.
Vogel. We ready to hang him. But when the Lakers won a few years back, I don't even remember who the hell the head coach was in 20 when they won. So that's what I mean.
Absolutely.
That's what I mean. That's what I say when I say coaching is.
When I think about this Bulls team, right? And I think about but before I even get into who they are, let's rewind the clock back to the 16-17 season when y'all lost in the first round to the Boston Celtics. Let's be 100% clear. If Rondo don't break his hand, Boston is out.
Facts. Rondo was an integral part of that run.
If Rondo don't break his hand, I think Boston is out. And I think the Bulls got a really legit shot of being in the Eastern Conference Championship against that Cleveland team. So let's start there. What is the staple? What has always been the staple of the Chicago Bulls? Always. And I don't mean over the last couple of years. I don't mean over the last 10 years. Who have the Bulls always been?
Defensive-minded, juggernaut.
That's who Chicago is.
Yeah.
That's what the Chicago Bulls are. The city of Chicago. We are hard hat, hard working, lunch pail. Bring your game. Mm-hmm. He just so happened to have an aerial attack in number 23 outside. But their staple has always been them being hard hat, going hard. They've always been like that. That's never changed. So now when we get back to that, people are almost surprised. And I'm thinking to myself, why? This is who the Bulls have always been. So let's see. We're talking about a team as of right now, 5th overall in the league in defense, 8th in rebounding, 7th in offensive rebounding. Okay? That means that 7th in offensive rebound, we're in the top 10 in second chance points. When you got scorers like Zach LaVine, Vooch, DeMar DeRozan, even coming off the bench. Now, I got to tell you, Beast, I was heartbroken down, and I'm not a Miami Heat fan, but I was heartbroken to lose Derrick Jones because I know how good he is off the bench. And he's going to be huge for y'all. I don't think he's going to be big. He's going to be huge for y'all. But I'm watching you guys last night, 13 for 16 in the fourth quarter. From the floor, you only missed 3 shots the entire fourth quarter. 10 for 11 from the stripe.
I told you.
This is a team that was minus 19 with less than 3 minutes in the third quarter. That game was supposed to have been over. Into Alex Caruso. Into the Sumu.
Yeah.
Now, into the Sumu. So we're talking about dirty work guys. And that was the difference right there. Now, the thing that I am concerned about, you got to replace Pat Williams. Because that's your ultimate dirty work guy. DeSumo, he seems to be a guy that can replace some of what he did, but you still got it. You're going to get Kobe White back soon, so that's going to help.
I think that's going to be the replacement because DeSumo and we got Jones Jr. kind of playing that positionless 3-4-2. You know, DeSumo's a little bit undersized, but he's been real scrappy as of late. I like what he brings to the table with Kobe White.
Right.
When Kobe White returns, I think we'll be all right.
Now, what I want to pay attention more to is I want to pay attention not just to your defense, your defensive rebounding, your defense overall. You forced, and you know how much I love Donovan Mitchell. You forced Donovan Mitchell into some ridiculously tough shots. He went 9 for 27. Not only did he go 9 for 27, him and Jordan Clarkson combined 15 for 46. We shut the door on you dudes.
Real talk.
You doing nothing tonight. Nothing. Anything that you get, you're going to work for it. Vooch has always been one of my favorite bigs. He doesn't get a lot of credit, but I remember when he was in Orlando and they would come over here to play the Miami Heat when they had the big three, and he would absolutely let Chris Bosh hold his 20 and 24 rebounds.
I'm telling you.
Hold his 19 and 23 boards before I go. Put that in your pocket before I leave. So to add him and get him in a trade, which basically you got him for a bucket of extra crispy and a six-pack. Let's call it what it is.
Facts.
All right? Let's call it what it is.
I don't give a damn.
Yeah. Let's call it what it is. Because to get a double-double like that over the next, let's say 5 years, that's a big deal. So when I'm looking at this Bulls team, I had you guys 7th, I think 8th, before the season started. And I had that because you and I already spoke about this. The Eastern Conference is going to be a nightmare this year. You can like we said before, you could go from 3 to 9 in a week. So the 7th place team and a 4th place team might be separated by 2 games. So it's not like it's a situation where it's going to be
Western Conference shit too. I fear that though.
Right. The 7th place team and the 3rd place team could be separated by 3 games.
Yeah, that's scary as hell to me. I don't like that in the East, man. I'm worried about that. OJ Knows is in the building. He said what frightened him the most about Chicago was the lack of center depth. We got Bradley and we got Vooch, and that's pretty much it. So I understand the fear of the lack of depth. I felt like we should have made an attack to get Andre Drummond or, somebody like that who was available, but, a Whiteside would have been cool. I would have loved to have Hassan Whiteside.
Stay away from Whiteside. Nope. Stay away from Whiteside.
No,
absolutely
not. I love
not.
Whiteside. I
used to love him. But in the words of my man Uncle Shannon Sharp, empty calories. I watched him. They came down here in 2020. They came down here when he was with the Trailblazers. He went almost 20 and 20. It was the most meaningless 20 and 20 I ever seen.
What makes you say that?
Oh my God, this dude. He wasn't working for rebounds. Just the half of the stuff that he got was just coming to him. He was getting tip-ins. He's lazy on defense. Completely lazy on defense. Oh my God! I watched Whiteside, man. As much as I love the big man, and as much as I love rebounding and rim protecting, I watch Whiteside. It's a lot of empty calories, B. A lot of them. You know, he had the same numbers in 2017. 2017, I think he had the same numbers as Rudy Gobert. He did not make the All-League team. Not the All-League defensive team. He did not. In fact, he was the only player in the league in the top 5 in rebounding, and top 5 in blocks that did not make the All-Star team. And you know why? Because a lot of that stuff is empty calories. That's what it is with him.
I don't know, man. I love me some Hassan Whiteside. He get crunk defensively to me. I think what you looking at is just the fact that he plays with a nonchalant attitude. It don't look like he's moving full throttle all the time, and that's why you got that opinion on him. But he's a guy that marches to the beat of his own drum. You know what I'm saying?
No, Diesel. No. Beast. And you know why? Because Tracy McGrady was super cool. I love Tracy McGrady, so we dead in that line.
True.
Absolutely not. No.
But I don't know, man. I like me Hassan Whiteside coming off the bench. I'm not mad at it. If we would have got that's defense, regardless of what you say, he's a statue in that paint, and he's going to block some shots. He's going to get in the way and alter some shots. It's better than what we got right now, to be honest with you. But I want to see what Bradley can do. I would have liked to have a Whiteside. I would have liked to have a Drummond, even though Drummond has been lackluster defensively as of late. A big body or something like that to that staple to kind of at least alter, get in there, ruff some feathers, alter some shots. Be Stacey King. You know what I'm saying? Get in there, knock some bodies over. Draw some fouls. Be Dwight Howard.
I can get with that.
That's all I want. You ain't even got to score. But Whiteside gonna give you 14 on accident. Whiteside is underrated.
You might get 20 on accident from him.
That's what I'm saying. Like Whiteside is an underrated player in my opinion. But we gonna segue to this. Like I say, it's been a Gabricio weekend of sports, especially football. Not necessarily sports. We gonna just say football because I like what I've been seeing from basketball as of late. There's been a couple of garbage players per se, like Dame Lillard has been asked. We're gonna get to that later on in the show though. But football tragedy struck. I couldn't even get the word out because it's this man was on a trajectory, a MVP type trajectory. Derrick Henry, I'm talking about. A guy on this type of pace to rush for 2,000 yards in back-to-back seasons just lost his season. Derrick Henry is out for the year. What the hell are the Tennessee Titans going to do to even come close to trying to match his energy or match his production? Because there is no matching his production. I mean, who do you got in the room to replace him? They just signed Devontae Foreman, I believe. They just signed Adrian Peterson, who played last year, had a solid year last year.
Who ain't that much younger than me, by the way. Let me put that out.
I know. I know. And that's the bad thing. That's the way you got to look at it. They got Jeremy McNichols. Are they going to give this dude a legit shot? He's been sitting behind Derrick Henry for years, for a couple of years now. And it's like, this might be the first or second year because he had Deion Lewis like 2 years ago. So it's like, are they going to get this kid a shot? What the hell direction are these guys going to go? Not only that, we have some more breaking news. Von Miller got traded for a second and a third to the Rams, like the Rams needed any more help. Like the Los Angeles Rams, by the way, pardon me for the chat not showing up on the screen. I know y'all can't see the chat. I messed something up. We was trying to get OJ in here, and I screwed up a lot of things. I'm going to have that fixed by next episode. But like the Rams needed more help.
So now you got a Ferrari and a Bentley in the driveway. So you're gonna give you another Ferrari. Like, that's what I'm gonna do.
Like they got 8 cars for 7 days out the week. I mean, it's like you already know how potent this offense is with the way Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp been cooking. Robert Woods is coming along. Darrell Henderson is just a man amongst boys. That offensive line is playing stout. Then you look on the defensive side of the ball. The Bears gave up Leonard Floyd for a bag of chips and a 6-wing. He's been balling. Then you add Ndamukong. Then you add a Aaron Donald, and now a Von Miller. And on top of that, the best corner in the game and Jalen Ramsey. They literally put all their chips in the middle of the floor and said, we going all in. These two breaking news scenarios got me wild and got me tripping. What you think, man?
We'll start with Tennessee. Okay, here's the team. They 5th in the league overall in offense, 2nd in the league in rushing, 5th in the league in third down and red zone conversion. Why do you think that is?
Red zone conversion, it probably has a lot to do with Darrell Henderson and the fact and their ability to run the ball, especially down the stretch in ball games, open up a lot of things in the passing game because you really can't give up nothing. I'm surprised at him this year. He's not sharing either. It's all him. Workhorse.
So add that to the fact that Tennessee is also 16th in the league in passing, which means that now, so we 5th in the league overall in offense, right? 2nd in the league in rushing, 5th in the league in third down conversion and red zone, 16th in passing, which means now we got to start throwing the ball more because our cowbell, our workhorse back, is now out the lineup. So now we got to get AJ Green more involved. We got to get Julio more involved. We got to get these guys more involved. You know what that means? That means Tannehill got to throw the ball more. I don't know if I like that. I can't say with 100% certainty that I'm loving that. But
Tannehill was a wide receiver in college. He is masquerading
yeah,
as a quarterback. And
hey,
now
and
he got to throw the ball. I might be
mm-hmm.
with you, Unc. I don't know how I feel about that one right there.
So, and I'm looking at this. I'm looking at their defense. They got a really good defense. They got a sack machine and Harold Landry. They got a sack machine in him. So that defense has been stout. But the problem that we having is that now we got to compensate for a guy who was on his way. And you and me had this conversation before.
Mm-hmm.
Try keeping the league MVP away from a dude that ran for almost 30 touchdowns and 2,000 yards again. Try keeping. I don't care who else is doing what. Try keeping the league MVP away from him again. And they was in first place. Try it. Try it.
It's gonna be nearly impossible.
You would have had a really difficult time doing it. And I see what Tom Brady doing. I see what Arizona is doing. I see what my man Diggs is doing in Dallas. I see what these teams are doing. Ain't none of y'all doing what Henry was doing. Y'all just wasn't. You weren't doing what he was doing. You weren't that important to your unit. And we're about to find out. You're about to find out how important Derrick Henry was to this Tennessee team.
What's Tennessee's record right now? I think Tennessee was either 500 or a game below 500.
No, they 5-2. They was 5-2.
My God, Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
is so good.
5-2. They was in first place.
5-2.
Served Buffalo last week. Served them. Not Buffalo. I'm sorry. Was it Buffalo or Tennessee that they beat last week? Served them with the cowbell that they had in Derrick Henry. So now he's out the lineup. This is not. They talking about this injury being 6 to 10 weeks. That means that it's going to be 6 to 10 weeks just for it to heal. 10 weeks from now.
They say he might come back towards the end of the year. So depending on how far they go in the playoffs. What we at? We at week what? Week 7 now?
We at week 8. We going into week 8 right now.
Halfway
so
through
with
the
that
season already. Damn.
Right. So 7 more weeks. That means that the regular season will be over.
That's what I'm saying.
So he gonna miss half the season. You gonna have him for the playoffs? Good luck with that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they 5-2 right now. Not only are we about to see what they can do, this offensive line, this running game, but we about to see what Ryan Tannehill really is. And I think if Ryan Tannehill can continue on the trajectory that Derrick Henry left for this roster, then I think we can have conversations and discussions of him being a top 10 quarterback in his league, because now he's put in a position where it's not as easy as it would be to just put the ball in the belly of a beast and let him run wild. It's not that easy no more. It used to be very easy. Then he's going to open up the entire game when you got these linebackers, east and north and south. You know what I'm saying? Every time you do this, it's a legit threat. Linebackers got to stay on their toes. You have to respect Derrick Henry. 8-9 in the box, 1-on-1 coverage for Julio, who's been inconsistent with health, and A.J. Brown, who just came back and had a hell of a game. But
now, when you talk about Von Miller, we're talking about a different beast, all right? We're talking about a dude who, he's before this season, for the last 5 years, he finished in the top 4 in sacks. And then for the last 5 years, he's had double-digit sack seasons. He's on his way to having a double-digit sack season this year. So it's obvious that he still got it.
Yeah, he's got 4.5 this year.
Right, and he's on his way to having it
already. 7 tackles for loss.
Yes, sir.
He's nowhere Pro Bowler. The last time we seen him on the field, he's nowhere near what he was 5 or 6 years ago. But Von Miller now will not be the focal point of the defense. I think that's the most important element that people are overlooking. In Denver, he was the focal point. You know what I'm saying? I think now he doesn't have to be the focal point of the defense because you got so many dynamic pieces. Somebody said in the chat they got the best corner, the best defensive lineman, and now one of the best linebacking pass rushers in the National Football League, all on the same team.
You know who this remind me of? This remind me of LT and Harry Carson.
Man.
And you know what happened when them dudes was running around.
I'm
pretty sure the Giants was playing on Super Bowl Sunday.
Breaking necks. I'm telling you.
That's what this remind me of right
Defensively
here.
coached by the greatest defensive coordinator and defensive mind of all time, Bill Belichick.
Facts. That's absolutely a fact.
You know that
so I'm
86, and that I believe it was 80. What year did the Giants win? 90? It was either 90 or 86. 86, one of them 2 years. The one LT took off. I think LT won MVP in 86. I can't remember when they went to the finals. Is either 90?
He actually won it in 85. They went to the Super Bowl in the 86 season.
Okay. Bill Belichick's defensive game plan is hanging in Canton. That is so crazy to even think about. That the defensive game plan that was drawn up for that game defensively, Bill Belichick is hanging in Canton in the Hall of Fame. Like, that's just, I've never heard of that being possible. That's how cold Bill Belichick is. That was just to throw that out there. That's irrelevant as hell.
It's not irrelevant. And let me tell you why really quick. And I watched Denver beat New England in the AFC Championship game in 16. And I got to tell you, Beast, when you got a great game plan, most of the time, 99% of the time, it works.
Yeah.
The downside is somebody gonna see your game plan and they're gonna use it against you because you ain't got you don't have a counter for it. So what happened was in 16, Wade Phillips went back to 1990 and he saw what Bill Belichick did against the Buffalo Bills in the NFC Championship game, and he said, "I'm gonna put 4 guys in the box. I'm gonna drop 3 in coverage, and I dare you to run the football. Let's see it." And he couldn't, and that was the deal. That was the difference. That's why New England lost to Denver. There you go, right there. I'm gonna use what you do
against you.
Great against you, and
that's
it worked.
What Bill Belichick is known for doing, taking what you give and you know, your best element of what you bring and taking it away. But Derrick Henry is gonna be well missed, and we are actually gonna see how good Ryan Tannehill is, because a lot of y'all mofos had him in y'all top 10. A lot of y'all. I never put Ryan Tannehill in my top 10. He was always top 15 to me. A lot of y'all already got him in y'all top 10 heading into this season, but the door is never shut when it comes to shit like this, and you're entitled to change your opinion when provided with new information. So he has an opportunity to show me something. And if he can come out here and produce and like I say, continue on this trajectory that the Tennessee Titans was on, 5-2 record. That's impressive. I did not know they only had 2 L's. But if they could continue on this trajectory, and he can, he could take this team to the playoffs, and he ends up snapping off, hey, he definitely got my respect. Real talk. But let's segue to your squad, your California 49ers team, San Francisco. They reside at, right? They came to Chicago and they put on a decent little show against the Bears. Jimmy G had a solid game. It wasn't raw. It was a solid game. It was one of them. Like my boy Agent. You know what I'm saying? It was, everybody was ranting and raving over this game. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, which is something that he don't do. It probably would have been more impressive if it was something that he did do, but it's something that he don't do. To me, Jimmy G is Gabricio. But I ain't gonna be disrespectful like that, and it was
too late. You already did.
Yeah, he's trash.
So let's give it up. Okay,
that's just what it is. To me, he's trash. So they got a 3-5 record right now, and I don't see the 49ers being as good as people advertised prior to the season coming in. I thought they would be better than what they look like. Having the defensive pieces back, of course. I don't know what the hell's going on with Kittle. The running backs have been banged up. The offensive line doesn't look the same. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't look like a game manager. Brandon Ayuk has fallen off a tree. The Deebo Samuel's the main guy now. I don't know what the hell to expect week in, week out from San Francisco, but I do know one thing. They got a kid from North Dakota State who, in my opinion, is pretty good. Number 5, Trey Lance. They got him sitting behind Jimmy Garoppolo. As a 49ers fan, I need to know, do you think they should put the kid in the game, let him learn some shit, or should they keep Jimmy G in and do whatever it is they think they about to do in the NFC? I don't know. What you think?
And I had this conversation in the past, and just so you know, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 4 years. Steve Young sat behind Joe Montana for 5 years.
No doubt.
Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith for a season. So it's not
Let me cut you
unconventional.
off. Let me cut you off. The Green Bay Packers were winning while Aaron Rodgers was sitting behind them. The San Francisco 49ers were winning while Steve Young was sitting behind Joe Montana.
Correct.
Who else did you name?
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith came off a 4,000-yard season and a playoff appearance while Patrick Mahomes was sitting behind him. So that's a different scenario than what you bringing up with your 49ers. They are 3-5, below 500, in a situation in which they don't look like the team that they look like last year, or the team we gave excuses for last year due to injury.
That's correct.
So it's like knowing that, okay, we not that guy. I'm not that guy, pal. So should we just cut our losses? Or?
Whoa, not yet. Not yet. That's number one. Number two, I'm looking at my unit, and we on the outside looking in, but we not that far out. We literally right there. We not that far out from making the playoffs. And I don't want to ruin this
Tough
kid.
division.
That's what I don't want to ruin this kid. The NFC West is serious. I think it's the toughest division in football.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. And I don't think I'm biased, even though I'm a 49er fan. I think it's the toughest division in football. But I don't want to ruin the kid. I don't think he's ready. I've seen him in games, and he looks fantastic sometimes. Just like Justin Fields looks great. In fact, not only does he look great, the fact that Nagy wasn't on the sideline, he just looked so much more comfortable. He looked like he had more control of that offense. He looked like he just knew what he was doing.
Nagy,
as
stay sick. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Stay sick. I'm sorry. I just said it again. Damn.
He just looked like he had more command of what they were doing. When I see Jimmy Garoppolo, just so you know, Beast, we win 80% of our games when he stopped. The problem with Jimmy G has not been his ability to move the ball down the football field. That's it. But that's the biggest thing. If you ain't healthy, it doesn't matter. So I'm looking at what Deebo Samuels did, 6 for 171 yards.
That's the
right?
guy, man. Deebo Samuel.
I'm looking at we got our bell cow in Elijah Mitchell. He had 137 yards on the ground, right? So we moving the football, and we got one of the best defenses in the game. We in the top 5 in the league in total defense. The problem that we having, we suck against the rush. We can't stop nobody. We can't stop anybody. And the division that we play in, which is the NFC West, they got bell cows. They got one in with the Rams. We already know who's running the football with the Arizona Cardinals. We know who's running the football in Seattle. And not only we know who's running the football is in the running back position, they got quarterbacks who move in the pocket, who rush. I mean, you're looking at Kyler Murray. It's very difficult to stop him.
That definitely
so,
going to help you stop the run numbers. When you
hell no.
Like
and in fact, it's killing our run numbers. So, but we did a good job of taking care of the football. The 49ers did a good job of taking care of the football and converting in the red zone, which is what we didn't do in our previous game. If Jimmy G can stay healthy, and I think we can capitalize on Russ still being hurt and Arizona losing, I think we can capitalize on that, and we can make some noise.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I got all the faith in the world in Trey Lance. I'm completely against holding on to these rookies, man. I say you can only learn so much from the background. You know, sometimes you just got to put the gun in their hand and say, "Hey, go kill somebody." You know, and that's just what it is, and let them get it in blood and figure it out through pain and suffering, man. That's how I feel about Justin Fields. Bears fans are saying take him out of the game. I'm saying no, leave him in, let him learn from his mistakes. But Kirk Cousins, he got outplayed by a guy by the name of Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush. You heard me right. Who the hell is Cooper Rush? Well, I tell you, Cooper Rush has the Dallas Cowboys 6-1 right now. No Dakota Prescott in his last game. It didn't matter. Touchdown pass to Amari Cooper. Unc is eating his words right now because this Dallas Cowboys team not only looks poised offensively, but they look like they shored up that defense. With Trayvon Diggs and these boys, they are out here. And they cut a guy that I thought could have been a perennial Pro Bowler in Jalen Smith. They just let him walk. So it's like that's how deep they are, linebacker. I think these guys are going to be phenomenal. And I've been hearing a lot of chirping like I do every year about these Dallas Cowboys, but is it for real though? Quickly, can they go all the way? What you think? You still on the fence about the Cowboys or what?
The reason why I am, but I'm on the other, I'm leaning toward the other side of the fence. The reason why is because I know it's the Cowboys, and whatever can go wrong will go wrong. However, if this continues, come on, man. Held Kirk Cousins to under 200 yards throwing.
That's the problem with Kirk Cousins. He's so inconsistent.
Come on, man. Held him to under 200 yards rushing. Shut the door on that wide receiving core. They didn't do anything. Dalvin Cook, he only had 18 carries. That's nearly not enough.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons and that front four, they completely dominated that Minnesota Vikings team. So the thing that I'm concerned with is health. Whatever can go wrong with the Cowboys will go wrong. But if this continues, because this kid Cooper Rush, I know what you're saying, Beast. He just looked like he knew what he was doing.
He did, didn't he?
He just looked like he was. He looked like if this is the first time you watch the Cowboys, you would think that's been their starting quarterback.
And you know what? You know one of my favorite cliches. Coaching is extremely underrated, and correct. I think nothing makes a player more prepared and more comfortable is being – you get confident. Like when you enter a test and you didn't study and you know you got to take this damn test, you feel uneasy. When you know it's pressure on you to pass this test, you feel uneasy. But when you've studied and you didn't pull an all-nighter and you've been studying all week for this test, come test day, you confident. You feel good. That's Kellen Moore's position when it came to Cooper Rush. He made him feel confident in the game plan that they had moving forward. Cooper Rush looked like the seasoned 10-year veteran taking snaps back there. Like we need to give credit what credit is due. And if ain't nobody going to do it, damn it, I will. Kellen Moore is outside of his mind with this play calling. So shout out to Kellen Moore. I know we've been disrespectful to Mike McCarthy because he deserves some credit too, but I'm giving the lion's share to Kellen Moore. He got this offense rolling this year, and
he's gonna be running somebody crew next year.
I'm saying, like if I was the Cowboys, I'd throw him like head coaching money just to be the offensive coordinator, or he might take
somebody crew next year.
He might be running a crew, like because I don't know how confident they are in Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, he might be. That's realistic. That's not nonsense right there. That's realistic. He might be running their crew.
Facts. Speaking of head coaches, there's another head coach that I think gets a lot of love, but I don't think gets enough love, and that's Sean Payton. Sean Payton has this New Orleans Saints team stout under the worst possible conditions that you could be in as a head coach and a leader of a football organization, right? This is like the third quarterback that they've lost. They lost Drew Brees to retirement. He gets replaced by Jameis Winston, who tears his ACL. And on top of that, the backup to Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, he's out. So now they down to Trevor Siemian. The last time we seen Trevor Siemian, he was one of the worst quarterbacks walking the planet. Capricio.
Trash.
But they come out here and they get a win against one of the hottest teams in the National Football League in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If OJ's still in here, I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had Super Bowl aspirations, and they come out here and get doused by Trevor Siemian. Hats off to Sean Payton. Like, you got your star wide receiver out. Offensive line is inconsistent. Defense has been playing stout, but, I mean, that's probably the only bright spot outside of what you've been getting from Jameis here and there on an inconsistent basis. But you still figuring out a way to make it work. These guys are 5-2. 5-2. This is remarkable from Sean Payton. Last year, I felt like he deserved Coach of the Year. And if he don't get it this year, this is laughable because it hasn't been a coach with this much sustained greatness in the last 2 seasons with less of an ideal situation. Even when he had his quarterback, Drew Brees was widely known as having a dead arm over the hill and should retire after this season. And he's still, like, Sean Payton is a hell of a coach. Like, top three head coaches in the league. Like,
and they still don't have Mike Thomas neither, by the way. Don't leave that part out.
That's
Mike Thomas
ain't they star wide receiver. No star wide receiver.
Absolutely.
Like, they down to their 4th-string quarterback. Like,
now, I will tell you this, though. I will say this. Every team, and you can appreciate this being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, every team in the league got a team that owns them. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. They could be 11-1 and they could be steamrolling everybody. But when they come see this team, forget it.
Yep.
Just so you know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3 of the last 4 losses that they've had against the Saints, they averaged 18 points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I look at this Saints team, there's no reason for me to believe that they should be doing this. The Saints got the 4th worst overall defense in the game. 4th.
Whoa, for real?
4th worst overall defense in the game. They trash.
That's a surprise.
Don't let that nonsense fool you. Not only
they got one of the best run-stopping defenses in the league. That's probably what I'm hanging my hat on.
Don't let that nonsense. They gave up 420 total yards, okay, for the game. They gave up over 400 yards for the game. They ain't stopping nobody. But I don't know what it is about Tampa. Something about Tampa when they come to town, outside the playoffs, New Orleans just has their number, man. I can't put my finger on what it is. So
it's been.
I'm looking at
Sean Payton.
Tom Brady We talking about a dude who he threw for 375 yards, so it looked good on paper. But don't leave out the fact that he had 3 turnovers.
That's why I
He
ain't
killed
even
them.
mention that. That was garbage time, fourth
Yeah,
quarter
he killed them.
comeback. Just
Yeah.
the Saints being the Saints, giving up a bunch of garbage points at the end of the game.
Right.
But to be
Right.
5-2 with the 5th best def, I did not. I could have sworn the Saints were
Fourth
better than that.
worst defense in the game.
So they the
4. They
28th.
trash.
Oh my.
They trash.
Oh
Don't let that
my.
front up.
Oh my. What a wonderful time.
Trash.
Wow, that's crazy. Shout out to Sean Payton even more. You get even more love now.
Mm-hmm.
But
They're giving up almost 350 yards a game. For
what if I told you James Harden was averaging 18, 7, and 8 right now on 39% from the field and 38% from 3? What would you say?
must be hurt.
No, he's not. He's healthy.
That's the first thing I would think. He either coming off an injury or he hurt.
What if I told you that Dame Lillard was giving us 18, 8, and 4 on 34% from the field?
I would say those numbers can't be correct. No way.
What if I told you that Donovan Mitchell was giving us 23, 4, and 4 in a season in which he's supposed to be proving why he's such an elite player, shooting 40% from the field? What would you have to say about Donovan Mitchell? The guy you think is better than Zach LaVine.
I do think he's better than Zach LaVine. I would absolutely think that there's something going on with these guys' games. Like, what's the problem?
Well, what about Michael Porter Jr., who's averaging a whopping 10 points and 6 rebounds on 34% from the field and 23% from three-point range? A guy that just got paid a max contract. What would you say if I told you these are his numbers on the season?
He took this money and now he's chilling.
This is criminal. But
there's no way. Something's wrong here.
A lot of people have been blaming the lack of success from superstars or talented players in the National Basketball Association on the fact that the refs have been swallowing their whistles when it comes to these fouls. We're not just talking about late game whistles. Whole game. All that wrapping your arm up underneath somebody's shit. All that pump fake, get them off their toes, jump into them and try to get the shot off shit. It's dead. This is kind of reminding me of 90s ball a little bit, early 2000s, 90s ball, where they letting the boys play. I'm happy to see this form of basketball being played because now you see the maturation of a Trae Young who struggled at first, but then he's getting it. Plays that he would embrace contact and try to draw a foul, he's just like, I might not get this call, so let me just do the right thing like Spike Lee. And he's just finishing. Or he's shooting. He's not looking to draw contact. Let the contact come organically. If you get hit in an illegal way while playing the game, you'll get the foul for it. But the moment you start to embrace that contact in a negative way, to where it sways the outcome of the game like James Harden did, learning how to manipulate the calls, manipulate the system, manipulate the rule book. The NBA seems to be onto something with this, and I love it. How you feel about these new rules?
Well, what I want to do, Beast, is I want you to imagine you got a gig, and you're doing really well in this gig that you got, but you got a side gig within the gig. And you also making pretty good money off of that, too. But one day, the side gig that you got is gone. But it ain't completely gone. So now the money that you was making on that side gig kind of gets cut almost in half. That's going to screw with you a little bit. True. So we're talking about a guy like James Harden, who going to the stripe is a huge part of his game. We're talking about a guy who over the last 5 years averages almost 11 free throws a game. All right, so now he's down to 7 free throws again. That's almost half. That's completely cut his game in half. Not to mention, I got to play through contact. It's a difference between me just relying on going to the stripe. I now have to play through contact, and he's been doing this over the last 10, 11 years. Trae Young is young enough that he understands that I still have enough time to adjust to this, as opposed to this being year 9, year 10. That's why Dame is struggling with it. That's why James Harden is struggling with it, because this has been such a long time, and I'm used to, quote unquote, getting this side hustle. Now that side hustle isn't working as much as it was before.
Gone.
It's almost gone. So now I got to adjust to just this, what I'm doing here. And if I can't adjust to this, my game is going to start to look kind of whack.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna have people start to whisper, is Dame washed?
Mm.
Is James Harden washed? Is he not really that good? Which I don't think that at all when I think about James Harden. I don't think that at all when I think about Damian Lillard. I do not think this dude is washed. But those are going to be the whispers if this continues. Because we're talking about a dude in Damian Lillard who just 2 years ago was 28-8.
Right.
The year before that, he was 30-8. We go from 30-8 to 17-6.
And that's why I say, you know, the notion that players in today's game wouldn't be able to survive in the 90s, a lot of people are using this as an example. A lot of people are using, you know, the Olympics as an example of when the league gets stiff and guys stop, you know, rewarding you for non-basketball actions. Can you persevere? And, you know, through the first X amount of games of the season, it's not looking like it. Dame Lillard is struggling. MPJ is struggling. James Harden, a guy who lives at the stripe, he's struggling. Donovan Mitchell, struggling. So it's like, it seems like the LeBron Jameses of the world, the Anthony Davises, the guys that really don't look to draw fouls, the guys that aren't looking for a cheap way out, a guy that ain't trying to manipulate the system like James Harden. And I love me some James Harden. I think he's one of the greatest scorers of all time, bona fide scorer. But just go out here and just get your buckets. Donovan Mitchell, just get your buckets. Damn the refs. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that's just the way I feel about it. Just go out here and get your buckets. Let's do these top 5 underperformers and top 5 performers. No. Let's get to something first before we get to the performers, because we running out of time here, right? I probably should have led with this because this is a very, very spicy topic, and I like this topic. So I probably either should have led with this or cut out some of the bullshit that we talked about to get to this right here, right? If you swap LeBron James with Jordan, so we putting LeBron in the 90s with that roster, and we putting Jordan in the early 2000s with those rosters and the teams that he had and then went on to play with, do we get the same result at the end of the day, better or worse? So we got 3 questions: same, better, or worse. LeBron with the Bulls. We'll start there.
I think that I don't know if you get the same, because when I think about that team in the 90s, Mike grew up with them. He was raised with them. Now we taking James and his game and we putting him in that, who Scottie Pippen, he already is who he is. Holmgren is already who he is. Paxson already is who he is. Stacey King, B.J. Armstrong, Bill Carr, these guys are already who they are. Mike was raised with them dudes. So it's going to be difficult to say that that's going to be the same, as opposed to in the 2000s. I think it's going to be worse. Why? Because they're going to do a terrible job in Cleveland of building that unit around Jordan, just like they did with James. And I doubt very seriously that Mike is going to stay there. I think you're going to get the same result with Mike jumping ship. Like, y'all ain't doing nothing for me.
Let's assume that happened. Let's assume. Does he take that team to the finals in 07?
No, I do not think that.
So you don't think Mike takes that team to the finals in 07?
I do not believe that he takes that team to the finals in 07. Michael Jordan in year 4. When I think about Jordan in year 4, that would be the 87-88 season. Jordan was buckets, and he was a lock-ass defender. And he was looking at this. He was still trying to prove that he was that dude. That was the year where he had to listen to, Jordan, you don't play defense. All you want to do is score. It's the 3rd year in a row that you lead the league in scoring. You don't really play defense. Oh, you don't think I play defense? We're going to get to the bottom of that right now.
MVP, led the league in scoring. 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference, shot over Iglo. That was the first time we got over the hump.
I'm the best. I'm the best offensive and defensive player in the game. Now what you think? So I don't think that winning was as important as It didn't become that until like maybe year 5, year
LeBron,
6.
let's be real talk. LeBron James could not match his intensity defensively in his fourth season versus Jordan's fourth season. Jordan averaged 30-something that year. Led the league in steals. Won Defensive Player of the Year. Third seed in the Eastern Conference. With essentially nobody. That Bulls team was not hot. Scotty was a rookie.
Oh, Scotty, that was Scotty rookie season.
That was
right,
rookie
87,
year.
88.
Scotty was a rookie.
Horace Grant too.
That's what I'm saying. We beat. That was the shot over Craig Elo year. So it's like, we finally got over the hump to inevitably lose to Detroit in the second round. What else is new? But, so it's like LeBron got the luxury, instead of facing Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boy Pistons, he saw Chauncey Billups and the Sad Boy Pistons. So there's a big difference. If Mike got a chance to see the Sad Boy Pistons, he would have put them boys in a box too. If he got a chance to see a Wizards team without Gilbert Arenas, he would have put them boys in a box too. If he got an opportunity to see Jason Kidd without the J, Ace and Kidd, he would have put them boys in a box too. And you know what? I'll take it a step further. He's getting a game against Tim Duncan. Say it. Yes, he is.
No, he's
you
not.
crazy as hell if you think Jordan wouldn't get to them finals in 2007.
Okay. First of all, before we go any further, let's make sure we get our facts correct. That shot over Craig Elo, that was 89. So we'll start there. That wasn't 88.
It wasn't 88?
No, it was 89.
Okay.
Just so you know. Now in 88, which most people don't want to talk about, and me being a James guy, I have to accept the fact Jordan in the first 2 games, he was averaging 50 a game in that series. Over the first 2 games, he was averaging over 50 a game. So I gotta accept that part. However, we're talking about Jordan in year 4. We're talking about a 26-year-old, 4-year seasoned vet. All right, James is 22 years old with that whack Cleveland unit. Jordan, they building that unit around Jordan. All right, they building that unit around Jordan. They wasn't building that unit around James. They weren't doing the same thing, as opposed to in the 90s when Jordan was running around with, like I said, he was raised with them. He grew up with them dudes. The only constant that James had is Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and I'm going to say it for the people in the cheap seats, Mr. Vedhijal, which that shit sound like a salad on the menu. Can I have a steak with a side of Vedhijal, please?
Vedhijal?
Get the hell out of here. Can I have that, please? No, I don't think so. And that was the only constant.
I don't care about a constant. I'm going to tell you like this. It would have been constant ass beatings had Jordan got to see them. I'm telling you. We would have wiped the floor with them boys. And we would have got a game on Timmy and them. I swear to, bro, you give Jordan all of them sweet streepers he had over there. Give him them snipers. They spreading the flow. You know what I'm saying? Jordan going to work. Who they had? Then they had Eric Snow. Who they had on that squad?
Let me run down that 07 squad real quick. We got Eric Snow at the 1.
Yeah.
Larry Hughes at the 2.
That's what I was missing.
James at the 3.
Yeah.
All right. Danielle Marshall at the 4.
Hey, don't say his name with disrespect. Like he ain't the all-time in threes before it was Steph Curry.
And Zydrunas Ilgauskas at
That's
the
a
5.
solid 5. That's a Jordan. So Jordan wouldn't have went to work with Big Z. Jordan wouldn't have went to work with Larry Hughes and E. Snow and Danielle Marshall with the clip from that corner. Danielle had a burn one. That's a solid squad. Booby Miles coming off the bench.
Booby Gibson. That's what we talking about. Damon Jones. Ira Newbound. That's what we talking about.
That's a solid squad. It's serviceable. Jordan gonna average 35, and they finna get to the playoffs, and they finna run through Washington just like LeBron did. They gonna run through the Nets just like LeBron did. They gonna run through the sad boy Pistons. Because the real bad boy Pistons, we beat in the 90s.
Whoa.
They beat us 4 times.
I ain't even on that. I'm talking about the sad boy Pistons that you talk about. You know they was in the Eastern Conference Championship 5 straight years, right?
They was the bad boy Pistons when they was the bad boys too when they had Ben Wallace. What's the Bad Boys without Bill Laimbeer?
And what is the Sad Boys? Who were the Sad Boys without Ben Wallace? They still went to the East Finals.
They the Sad Boys. That's what they are.
But they still went to the East Finals though. So let's dead that. Okay.
If Ben Wallace was there, LeBron wouldn't have made it. They needed that 9 points and 4 blocks. All of that. LeBron scored 26 straight points all in the paint. They ain't had nobody for that man. And Jordan would have got a game. He ain't getting swept by no Tim Duncan. Not by Tim Duncan. Not by Manu Ginobili. If Jordan getting swept, it's going to be by Larry Bird. It ain't going to be by no Tim Duncan. Not no Manu Ginobili. So then you move on, right? In 2011, you put Michael Jordan with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. You mean to tell me they don't win that?
No. Not when they coming together like that. No, they not. We
are assuming they swapping roles. So LeBron James is Michael Jordan. LeBron grows with Scottie. Jordan.
So he just got on the crew. So he just got on the crew in Miami. Jordan just got on that crew in Miami. The first season, you telling me that they win the NBA championship and they beat Dirk Nowitzki and that Dallas team.
If they get to the NBA Finals and you take out LeBron James and you insert Michael Jeffrey Jordan, excuse me, it's not a doubt in my mind. Jordan averages 30 instead of 17, 7 and 7. Jordan's going to average 30, and Dirk is going to hobble his old ass off of that stadium and go home ringless. I'm sorry.
You understand why James did that? We still haven't established who the man was. It was supposed to be Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne Wade, just so you know, Dwayne Wade was 26 a game in those finals. But we realized, even Dwayne realized, you know what? In order for us to win this, you got to be the dude. It's not going to work with me.
Stop it. LeBron was the primary ball handler. They ran a 2-3. They ran a zone defense, and LeBron got shook because he couldn't get to the painted area. So he was lost in the defense. That's what happened.
No,
I watched
that's not what happened.
Front to back.
I did too.
They ran a zone defense, and they completely neutralized LeBron James. He was. Which way did he go? God. He was standing with the ball in his hand with all the icons up. For all my 2K heads out there wondering who to pass it to, he was so lost. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God!
And he almost lost the second time around. Can't come right back. He had the greatest game of his career, 45 and 15, to stand a chance against Boston. He damn near goggled the bag then.
You saw what happened. Almost only counting horseshoes, homeboy. Let's make sure we clear on that. Almost only counting horseshoes. That's it.
Jordan assassinated all them boys. They can't sit in the same gym with Michael Jeffrey Jordan. He went 6-0. You think LeBron going 6-0? What you think Bron doing? Scottie, Bron, or are you trying to tell me they don't mesh well? Because a lot of people tell me you take LeBron and put him on any team and they're automatic contenders. Well, put his ass on a 1991 Bulls against Magic. They gonna beat Magic worthy in them?
You saw what happened?
So is LeBron gonna beat Magic worthy in them in 91?
I think so. Even though Jordan was raised with them, I still think if you take James,
raise LeBron with him. I don't care what stipulation you put on him.
Well, if you raise him,
LeBron was drafted in '84.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. They beat the Lakers. I think they served them. If you're putting James in the same situation where he raised with Scottie and raised with Paxson and raised with all of them dudes, they absolutely mopped the floor like the Bulls in '91 did with them dudes. They served them. Stop playing with me, because now I got a dog on defense in Scottie Pippen. And guess what? I got another dog on defense in LeBron James.
Hey! Don't try to make him no dog.
Are you kidding me?
LeBron was all right.
He wasn't.
He was all right defensively. We're not about to sit here and act like LeBron was just a dog defensively. That's why that's why when people say, "Oh,
what?"
LeBron was all right.
What are you serious?
What I'm talking?
4 times in 5 years, finishing in the top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year, including finishing twice second. I'm a dog on defense.
LeBron had a 3-year stretch out of his 20 years where he really played defense.
3 years, six-time All-League defender. Not only a six-time All-League defender, after he made the All-League defensive team in 13-14, what happens? Like, does he just stop playing D? No, he doesn't, because in the 16-17 season, he finishes 5th in Defensive Player of the Year, but he don't make the All-League defensive team. So what happened? What's going on here? Why is he not on the team? Because it's obvious that he didn't stop playing defense.
Has LeBron James ever had 100 blocks and 100 steals in the same season? No, he hasn't. Yes. No, he hasn't. Dwayne Wade has. Flash has had 100 block, 100 steal season. If you're elite defensively and you're a perimeter player, how come Hakeem Olajuwon has had 100 blocks, 100 steals in a single season? Look at this. Andre Drummond has had 100 blocks and 100 steals in a single season. Why hasn't LeBron at 6'8", 260 pounds, monstrosity, athletic demon? Why can't he get all them chase downs? You couldn't get 100 of them? Mike has had 100 blocks and 200 steals 3 times in his career. No, actually, twice. He did it twice in his career.
He did it twice. No
100 blocks, 100 steals a couple of times. LeBron James has never even had 100 blocks in his career. That's 100 sad. Blocks, huh? He's never even touched 100 blocks. Yeah, look it up. Keep your nose in that phone. Now put it down when you see it.
Even though you are aware that Dennis Rodman never had 100 blocks in the season.
I don't believe that.
Dennis, not only has Dennis Rodman never had 100 blocks in the season, you know that Dennis Rodman never led the league in steals one time.
I mean, he didn't
even average a steal one time in his career. Not to mention, Dennis might be the best. You can make the argument that Dennis is the best perimeter defender. You can make that argument that he's the best perimeter defender in the game.
Is that perimeter? Not Dennis Rodman?
You can definitely make that argument. Dennis Rodman is the best perimeter defender in the game
of all time. Make that argument. Or at that time.
You can make that argument of all time. You can make that argument that Dennis Rodman is the best perimeter. I didn't say that Jordan wasn't. What I'm saying is that you can make the argument that Dennis is the best perimeter defender in the game. You can make that argument. So with that being said, did James just stop playing defense? No, he didn't just stop playing defense. No, he didn't. So I'm trying to make sense in how it just. Why am I not on the All-League defensive team anymore? What's going on? What are we doing here? But me and my man, we could talk about this all night. We running out of time, so me and my dude, we could do this all day.
All right, let's get to the top five performers, top 5 underperformers. I'll go first. Since a lot of people be complaining at the fact that I don't go first, I'll go first. Top 5 performers. I got the Eagles defense. We did our thing this week, albeit against the woeful Detroit Lions. I don't give a damn, right? I don't give a damn.
Play who's in front of you,
and we beat the shit out of them. I don't care. We play who's in front
of
you.
Play who's in front of you. That's it.
At 4, I got Najee Harris. He ain't made the top 5 all year. I think Najee Harris had a great game, over 100 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. Najee Harris has been a bright spot for that Steelers offense. At 3, I got Amari Cooper. 8 for 122, including the game-winning touchdown from Cooper Rush to beat these boys. Amari Cooper had himself a day. At 2, I got A.J. Brown. He goes 10 for $155 and a touchdown. Ryan Tannehill had a solid game as well. I was debating on which one I should put, but he took like a 70-yarder to the crib. He still got that speed, quickness, and explosiveness. Shout out to A.J. Brown. And number 1, no doubt about it, what's understood don't have to be explained, give me Mike White. Man had over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Who? Shout out to the broadcast. Who? Shout out to the broadcast boys. Mike White, over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. They might have a quarterback controversy in New York.
They might have that. That's not your opinion. That's a fact. They might have a situation. My top 5, I got Jimmy G at 5. 17 for 28, 322 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Jimmy G was balling. No question about that. Number 4, I got A.J. Brown. 10 receptions, 156 yards. A.J. came to work that day. Absolutely he did. Number 3, I got Adrian Phillips. My boy, 2 interceptions. 1 for a pick 6. Had my boy Justin Herbert looking shook out there. I don't know what happened. And number 2, my boy Deebo Samuels. 6 receptions, 171 yards. Deebo, he's always in the conversation for one of the best wide receivers in the game. And to piggyback off my man, the Western Kentucky product, Mike White. We might have a situation with the New York Jets. We might have that. I ain't saying that we do, but we might have a situation with the New York Jets.
That's crazy to even think about because he looked way better in this one game than Zach Wilson looked in any game all year.
Facts.
Top 5 underperformers. At 5, I got Delvin Cook. He had 70 yards on the ground, which isn't terrible, but the fact that he's only got 2 100-yard games this year is not himself. So I feel like we need to put that on recognition compared to last year, what he was at this time. At 4, I got Mike Williams. 4 catches for 46 yards in his last 2 games combined. That is not the Mike Williams we know and love that started off this season red hot, him and Justin Herbert. At 3, I got Kyle Pitts. 2 catches, 13 yards. Gabricio. What's up with you? You were the 4th overall pick in the draft.
That's my offensive rookie of the year.
We got to do better. At 2, I got Travis Kelce. 4 catches for 27 yards and a fumble. You're Gabricio. That whole offense, it just looks horrendously bad. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And at 1, of course, the culprit of number 1 performance, the Cincinnati Bengals defense. You let Mike White put up 403 tubs on your head top. You're garbage. You are the worst performer of the week.
Absolutely. Now, real quick to double back, I had an honorable mention with the top 5 performers, and it's your man, Mr. T.J. Edwards, 13 tackles. He was sideline to sideline. He was not playing around.
No doubt.
No, he was not. He was absolutely doing that. But my underperformance, I had a little bit of a flip flop. I had Cincy at number 1. I had Cincy at 5. 18 first downs, 41 rush yards. Give me a break, man. Dude was trash. Number 4, DeAndre Swift. I can't put into words what's going on in Detroit. 12 rushes for 27 yards. It's your starting running back.
Yeah, that's
12 rushes, 27 yards. Are you kidding me? That is unacceptable. Give me a break. Number 3, oh man, Matty Ice. I had Matty Ice in the top 10 this season before we even started. I gotta take him out. He was trash.
He said, I gotta take him out.
I gotta take him out. He was 146 yards.
Yeah,
that's it. I can't even get 100. I can't even get 150 yards.
You know who you gotta put in for Matty Ice?
Oh my God,
Kyler, because you didn't have him in there. So out goes Matty, in comes Kyler for your top 10. That's who you gotta replace him with.
That may very well be true. Number 2, I got Justin Herbert. Gabricio, in the words of my boy Beast, Gabricio. Facts. He was trash. He know he was trash. 18 35, 223 yards, 2 picks, not one of them, 2 of them. He was trash. And my number 1, I had him in the top 10 in wideouts. Justin Jefferson. Trayvon Diggs shut the door on him. 2 receptions for 21 yards. That's it. Invisible. He wasn't even out here. What was he doing? Completely cut the field in half. You will not be a part of what's going on today. I can't say the best for everybody. But you will not be a part of what we're doing today. I can't say that about everybody else. That's right. Trash.
Oh, man, I appreciate everybody for joining us today. We're going to get on up out of here. We had a great time. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I love every single one of y'all, man. OG and Chilltown, De'Aaron Fox has 0 points going into halftime versus Utah Jazz, or versus the Jazz in the Kings League. That's terrible. De'Aaron Fox, I'm telling you, the league is just, I don't know what's going on with these cats today in the league. JJ has to step up. I think JJ is out for the season. How do y'all feel about the Heat after they beat Dallas today by double digits? The Heat is for real.
Serve them. They are. Yes, they are.
The Heat is the real deal.
Yes, they are.
No doubt about it.
Yes, they are. Mm-hmm. Yes, they are.
Let's see. Kendrick Lamar or Jermaine Cole? Give me Jermaine Cole, and to me, it's not even close. I take J. Cole over Kendrick all day long.
And Kendrick is dope, but definitely J. Cole.
I definitely need J. Cole, though. Who's the Derrick Rose of the NFL today? Has so much potential but gets injured.
Dalvin Cook.
Oh.
Dalvin Cook.
That's a good
one. If this dude can stay healthy, I think that he's a perennial 1,200-yard rusher if he can stay healthy.
I agree with that. There it is. Do you think Stephon Gilmore can handle wide receiver ones for the Panthers defense? I don't know. I got to see. Has he even played yet? Has he suited up? Has Stephon Gilmore suited up? I'm not sure.
I haven't seen him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him either. I don't know. How about Barkley? What about Barkley? Barkley who?
Saquon
Oh,
Barkley. Come on, man.
Saquon Barkley. Okay.
How does that even happen, yo? When he rolled his ankle, are you serious, yo?
And
How
it's
does that even
nasty,
happen?
man. Like that ankle
That
was
was
like poofed up like this. I
yeah.
said, God
How does
damn.
that even happen? How does that even
Just
happen, yo?
bad
Come on,
luck.
man.
Lil Wayne and
Man.
Drake. I think we answered something similar to that last week, but I'm
Yeah.
going Drake. Drake is my man. That's my
Drizzy.
goat to me.
Yeah, Drizzy is awesome.
But yeah, we gonna get on up out of here, y'all. I appreciate every single one of y'all that showed up to the Sports Behavior Podcast. We do this every Tuesday, Thursday night. I'm OG the Beast. That is Chilltown 32. You can follow us on all social media networks. Google us, YouTube. We here. This episode will be up on YouTube tomorrow. For those that don't know, go drop us a follow. We trying to figure out how to get it on Apple, Spotify too for the guys that can't make it live to the podcast. Do the Wizards make the playoffs? The answer is no. But I appreciate y'all being here. Unc, take us out.
Take it light, but take it.